Hello everybody, today I'll be reading The Odd Ones Out, How to Be Cool, and Other Things I Definitely Learned from Growing Up, Part 5. Even at a preschool age, Luke was much bigger than me. When I was 4 years old, I wore the shoes he'd worn as 2 years old, and since he was 3 years older than me, he was always faster, more mature, and better at just about everything. Luke did gymnastics for years, and because of that, he was always much stronger than me and anyone I'd ever met. He'd like to play rough, stronger than me and anyone I'd ever met. He liked to play rough, push me, pin me to the floor, that sort of stuff, based on true events. When I was a freshman in high school, Luke was a senior at freshman orientation. Some of Luke's senior football friends came up to me. Did I mention that he was also a starting player on the football team? It probably didn't need saying. One of his friends looked at me and said, "You're not nearly as muscular as Luke." Some people might have felt bad in that situation, but at that point, I was used to feeling bad. I had trained for it all my life without missing a beat. I said, "Neither are you," because it was true. We can't all be Lukes, but being a younger brother also has its advantages. His historically older brothers used to get all the inheritance. Since then, younger brothers have made great strides. Now all older brothers get is the right to be player one in video games. So being an older brother isn't always what I cracked up to be. Older siblings are supposed to be the responsible ones. So whenever the two of us would get in trouble, he'd take all the blame. Luke had a serious sweet tooth at our house. Nothing containing sugar was safe from him. Mom made cookies, instantly gone. I spent Halloween night going to all the right houses and getting the perfect mix of candy, gone by morning. My parents hid chocolate chips in the pantry, behind cans of green beans, and Luke used his stealthy assassin skills to steal them. My parents finally put a lock on their closet and hid the key so that they could keep sweets in the house without having them immediately disappear. One day, when I was about 7 and Luke was about 10, my parents forgot to lock their closet and foolishly left a 3-pound bag of Skittles completely unprotected. Oh! For some reason, he believed that he wouldn't get in trouble for eating all the Skittles if nothing remained of the crime. Stealing Logic 101. You have to get rid of the evidence. He knew he wouldn't be able to eat the entire bag while Mom was out, so he enlisted my help. You know how adults always tell you that if you eat too much candy, you'll get sick, but you never do? Or that's because you've never eaten 3 pounds of it. 3 pounds is how much a small chihuahua weighs. He ate the equivalent of a Skittle chihuahua. But we accomplished our goal. Bro, I just want to say you're my best friend. When my mom came home, she was none the wiser. Totally didn't notice the missing Skittles bag or the fact that our tongues were multicolored. Everything would have been fine if I hadn't blown our cover. You might be expecting me to say that I slipped up and mentioned the candy, but no, I kept the secret. Unfortunately, my stomach didn't. The Skittles wanted to make a reappearance, and they did when I threw up all over the family room carpet. The thing about throwing up Skittles is that it's pretty obvious you ate something rainbow colored. Bah, my Skittles! I didn't have to fess up. The proof was in the pudding. Or in this case, the rainbow colored throw up. For punishment, my mom always handed out extra chores. Luke had to go to the backyard and pull weeds, and I got to lie on the bed and recover. When Luke protested that this wasn't fair, my mom said, "James has already suffered enough." As I said, there are advantages to being the youngest, but this wasn't the only time I got in trouble with my brother. Remember how I said Luke wanted to be an assassin? I wasn't totally joking. One of the video games he always played was Prince of Persia. In the game, the main character does cool parkour. He runs across walls, does backflips, and has a dagger that can turn back time. Luke took a lot of inspiration from this character and was determined to try some moves himself since he was in gymnastics. He knew what he was doing. Sort of. He wasn't that good at it. Sorry if you're reading this, bro. With one hand on your banister, he tried to run horizontally around the stairwell. What he planned on doing, what he did. His first step went right through the wall. No matter how unobservant your parents are, there are some things they are bound to notice, like foot-sized holes in the stairwell. Thinking of the simplest solution to avoid a lot of extra chores, I ran up to my room and grabbed a Keep Calm and Carry On poster. Back then it wasn't a dead meme. I thought it was inspirational. Before I had a chance to get tape, my mom walked out of her room and began heading downstairs. I just stood there holding up the poster over the hole and said, "So, what do you think of putting the poster right here? I think it goes good there." My mom walked by and said, "I thought it looked better in your room." And then she just walked away. I'm still dumbfounded to this day at how well my plan works. Kids are acting weird again. Of course, the poster technique didn't work for long. My mom vetoed our decorating attempts and found the hole. What a nice message. Ah! Let's just say she didn't follow the instructions on the poster. I believe our yard was free of weeds for several weeks afterward. Besides, getting you into trouble, older brothers have always sought purposes. Older brothers have other good purposes. Being Luke's younger brother taught me a valuable lesson. It's okay to be a number two. It's okay to lose every video game and board game. As Luke grew more competitive, I became less so. Now that I'm older, if I'm playing a video game with someone, sometimes I lose on purpose just to make the other person happy. And I always feel a little bad when someone else loses because I know how they feel. I used to experience that same feeling every day repeatedly. Plus, when you're doing something awkward, like cringy, older brothers tell you kinda like a bully who always loves you. I guess at this point I should mention that I have a little sister, which technically makes me an older brother too. I do my best to fulfill the older brother role and frequently tell her when she's doing something wrong. In conclusion, older brothers make us who we are today, anxious, traumatized, and slightly neurotic. So thanks, older brothers, you're the best.